We have some breaking news. The Toronto Blue Jays have made a very surprising move, and following what has been a very crazy past couple days of speculation surrounding not only Bo Bichette's availability, but some other players' availability as well as we enter the World Series starting tonight. Not only have the rosters been revealed, but there's a couple moves that have fans fairly intrigued. We'll write that down and discuss what it means going forward, as well as a couple of other updates on this episode, ladies and gentlemen. A ton to dive into. But before we get into it all, as per usual, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, it's the place to be for daily Jays content. Your guys' support has been unbelievable. Folks, today is officially the day. Of course, the World Series is starting tonight. We have a couple surprising moves to dive into, and we have some good news, and we also have some interesting stuff as well. But let's just start with the full roster. The roster has been revealed, and we will dive into each and every single move one by one here, but let's start with not one by one, but pretty close. Let's start with the pitchers and let's look at some of the guys we have. So, of course, no surprise for a lot of these. You're going with two of the starters again in Chris Bassitt and Max Scherzer. Yariel Rodriguez has officially been left off of the roster, and I speculated that in last night's video, in this morning's video a little bit. But, folks, Bo Bichette is officially back. He is back in action, and obviously, which is very exciting, but it's also pretty intriguing to see the avenue they went because you'll also see here that Ty France is back as well. He hasn't played in a very long time, similar to Bo Bichette, but a bit sooner than Bo Bichette. Obviously, Ty France was available at the beginning of the, towards the end of the season. And then, of course, he was left off of a couple of the rosters for the ALDS and the ALCS. But they're rocking Bo Bichette, Ty France, and IKF. So ultimately, the biggest moves are obviously a couple different things here. Now, Bo in, Ty France in, Loperfido out, and Yariel Rodriguez out. There's a bunch of comments I just kind of showed you guys. We'll dive into in a minute here, but this makes things very, very interesting because my initial thought was, okay, it's a simple swap, and a lot of you guys in the comment section were like, okay, fairly simple swap. You saw Bo Bichette for Joey Loperfido. You keep riding. Clearly, they love IKF. Wouldn't be surprised if IKF starts tonight at second against Blake Snell. They were never going to take IKF off. Loperfido, he's lefty. He didn't get into any games after Santander got taken out of the playoffs in the ALCS. But they're rocking with Ty France and Yariel. Or Ty France for Yariel, and then Bo Bichette, of course, for Loperfido. And this is interesting to me because there was a world where I figured they would go ahead and, get rid of Yariel Rodriguez. But I figured that would be obviously for Bo Bichette. And then you have Joey Loperfido around in case some pinch running, duties need to be had. Now, clearly, they think that the pinch running duties will be taken care of by Miles Straw, even though he likes getting into the game late in the game as a defensive replacement. It's pretty surprising to me that they took both of them off, Loperfido and Yariel. Now, obviously, Yariel is going to be the one that people talk about the most because he at one point had a very good season and then tailed off a little bit, had a very good stretch halfway through the year or so, and then since then has been really rough. But again, you can see here from Schneider, Blue Jays add Bichette and Ty France, the World Series roster. That includes 14 position players and 12 pitchers. So most teams, and the teams, like I mentioned in my video, I think yesterday, the day before, teams that have won the World Series the past couple of years, the past few years have run 13-13. So you can have a total of 26 players. It's up to you how you kind of distribute them. They're going 14 position players and 12 pitchers rather than 13 pitchers and 13 position players, which makes sense given the construction of the team. Now, let's look at the pitchers here. You have Chris Bassitt, who's undoubtedly going to be used in a bullpen role. And I think their mindset is, if Chris Bassitt can't do what Yariel Rodriguez would do, then you don't have much use for Chris Bassitt anyway. Now, yes, he's a long man. Yariel can be considered a long man as well. But, at the end of the day here, having Chris Bassitt takes away some of the need for Yariel, who's been bad anyway, so you can kind of figure that. And then, of course, you have Max Scherzer, who I would presume is going to start Game 4. But you also have Eric Lauer in the bullpen as well, who's going to be used probably more because there's a lot of lefties in the lineup. Now, they could have went with Justin Brule if they didn't want to take Ty France. Clearly, they like something with Ty France. Now, whether that be his ability to hit, I mean, maybe. I doubt it, right? I don't really know why they're taking Ty France. I would assume it's just to have a pinch hitter off the bench against some of their lefties. But at the same time, Ty France has hit righties well as well. And, of course, you're going up against Blake Snell tonight. And a couple of their lefties in the bullpen are good. Obviously, one of them is, I believe, out for the first couple games due to he's placed on the – or I know he's going to miss at least the first game. I don't want to speculate why. But other than that, you have Bo Bichette back, which means things are going good. Right at the end of the day, things are going good. And you look at Ty France's savant here. He finished the season with a 680 OPS. Obviously, had a much better OPS with the Jays. He is like the best first baseman defensively in baseball. I don't know where they'll use that, though, because there's no way they start him at first and Vladdy at DH, because unless Bo's available to play in the field somewhere and to get Springer off his feet, but I don't think, or to get Vladdy off his feet. I don't think that's, an avenue here. I think this is strictly a pinch hit ability, factor here. And also, I think because of the fact they're taking Ty France, I doubt they'll use Bo Bichette as a DH, or sorry, as a pinch hitter very often, right? I think this probably signifies, unless I'm overthinking it here, that Bo is going to be available to DH at the very least, probably not just be a pure pinch hitter, because otherwise they probably would have ran with somebody who had a bit more speed. But let me know down below what your thoughts are. A couple surprising moves here. Yariel and Loperfido gone. They went with the surprising move of taking 14 position players instead of 13 and 13. Quite the interesting go. Now, a few other things before we wrap up here. Let's quickly show you guys Bo Bichette, just to give us a little bit of hype heading into the playoffs. Finished the year with an 840 OPS. Would have led the American League in hits, average, all these different things. Obviously, not a very good defender this year, but boy, can he swing a bat. Assuming he's in the lineup tonight, very excited to see what that entails, how good he's going to be. And of course, beyond that, like just what the vibe is, because you need your best hitters in order to make the World Series. You have Bo Bichette, you'll be available there, and things are going to get exciting very, very quickly for this team. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on these moves. Are there any of them that you don't like, any that you are surprised with? There's this pretty, I didn't think they were going to run 12 position players, or sorry, 12 pitchers. I think that's quite not random. Like, it makes sense, and I actually kind of love it, having Ty France and, extra bat off the bench, especially with potentially starting IKF in a lot of these games. But let me know down below what your thoughts are. A few other updates here before we wrap up. This was in an article from Ben Nicholson-Smith that kind of has me, it's a fun narrative going on here. A couple of them in Shapiro and Schneider may already be unofficially settled, but with extensions that will be finalized soon after the offseason begins. So, of course, the Jays have a ton of free agents heading into this offseason. It seems like an extension for Shapiro and Schneider is already in the works. So, let me know down below your thoughts on that. It makes sense for Shapiro. He's done a great job. The renovations are fantastic, and they made the World Series, right? So you can't really criticize him for that. John Schneider, I know a lot of you guys might not be happy with that. I'll save that for another video here, but it is interesting to see kind of how the narrative is, the difference between the fans sometimes and the actual internal beliefs. And a couple eyes to keep out here on the stats for the opponent, which, of course, we're going up against Shohei, Mookie, Freddie Freeman, Max Muncy, all these guys. Shohei slugged .714 against splitters this season. Mookie 800, Freddie Freeman 947. So as you approach a game tonight with your first two games, you have splitter heavy pitchers going. Today is Savage, tomorrow Gosman. If they're not dialed in with their location, unlike the Yankees, unlike the Mariners, they will absolutely, the Dodgers, that is, crush Trey Savage if he's not locating. Good news is they haven't played him before. I have full faith in him, and hopefully the Jays can come out and take care of business. And Pete Walker, longtime pitching coach, has reflected on this year, saying this has been like a second home. He couldn't imagine going anywhere else. So we'll see what happens with him once his contract is up. But folks, things are getting crazy. Today is officially the day. They made some surprising moves. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. You guys are absolute beasts.